Are there any, like, specific stories you want to say about
The unfortunate part, as a foster child back in the 70s, there wasn't strict rules like there is now. And so in those foster homes, I unfortunately endured physical, verbal, and sexually was abused in all of those foster homes. If not one, it was another, or so forth. I did go to 12 different foster homes. Actually, 11 different foster homes. The 12th one is what adopted me.
Is there any other stories you want to share?
There's always scary stories. Some of the foster homes that I was in, if the parents didn't like you, maybe their children didn't like you. Foster home they're in, the older daughter didn't like us, so there's several times that she would throw us outside because we went there in the winter when the mother wasn't home and made us stay out there without any coats on. We just had sweaters on. So we used to huddle together while we were freezing. Unfortunately, there was another foster home, but both my sister and I were both sexually abused in there, and that man went to prison, where he did die in prison, which was probably not that I want anyone to die, but it was a sign of relief, more so for my sister, because unfortunately my sister has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, and it started because of that. When I was a little kid, I used to be so poor that McDonald's was across the street, and we could smell, of course, the food all the time, that me and my sister Pam used to cut up pieces of paper to make it look like French fries, and we would eat the paper but think it was French fries. So you don't realize what you have until you think about it. But because of all of those things, I think that has probably made me a better person, because I've learned so much, and I had to grow up so fast because I'm the oldest of the three of us, and I had to be a mother to both of them. So I think at age 6, I was Santa, I was the Easter Bunny, I was the Tooth Fairy, and I was the mom. And I learned how to be a better mother, learned how to be a good person in the society, and I've never been arrested. I graduated from high school at age 17. I've been at the same job for 27 years. I've been married to the same miserable man for 24 years. And I have 2 beautiful children. I know I'm not a perfect mom, but I know I did a really good job bringing them up.
What was different about being with Jeannie?
It was a family. They accepted me the way that I am. It's hard to explain. It's just that I knew that they loved me, and I wanted to stay there. And it's like when you buy something, you get that warm and fuzzy feeling, you know you really want it. That was how it was. The warm and fuzzy.
How did she approach you about wanting to adopt you?
She didn't approach me. I approached the social worker that I had. When I came to this home with Jeannie, it was only supposed to be an emergency 2-week stay. That was back on July 21st, 1978. After being with her, I decided on my own that my last name would no longer be Espelot, it would be Hughes. So when people were calling me in school for Jacqueline Espelot, I would not answer. I told my social worker that I saw once a week that Jeannie wanted to adopt me, but she couldn't afford it. So the next week after I told them that, they went and brought the adoption papers to her and told them that she didn't have to pay and that she could adopt me. So she really had no choice.
Awesome.
One of the greatest stories of being adopted is 2 years after I came to that home in 1978, I got one of the best Christmas presents. And that Christmas present came in the month of January. I was sleeping over at my cousin's house, and my mother told me to come home quick. I came home only to find my baby brother sitting on the couch, and her to inform me that she was adopting him as well. And I never lost contact with my sister Pam. She's actually my other child. She may only be a year younger than me, but she's definitely my other kid. She calls me Mother Hen, and she's my Chicken Little. Well, there's lots of happy stories. I could tell you a really funny story.
I want to hear that.
Because I had gone through many different foster homes and my mom and dad didn't want me, it's very traumatic to a child at age 8. When it came to this foster home that did adopt me, we all, as a family, every year in the summer, we would go to Canopy Lake. So this was the first time that I was ever going to Canopy Lake. So I'm in the park, and we all got to do our own thing, and we're all hanging around. And then they realized that I was missing, and they couldn't find me. Well, where I was sound asleep in the car because I was so afraid they were going to leave me there, and I would have no family again because I really wanted to be with them, that I went and went in the car. So no matter what, when they got in the car, they still had to take me back home. But I fell asleep. They had shut down the park and everything because there was an 8-year-old missing child. And they couldn't even be mad at me because of why I did it. You know, I started crying when they yelled because they were obviously scared. But I told them I was afraid that you were going to leave me and I wouldn't have a family again.
Are there any last things you want to say about it? About family or things you've learned or anything?
We didn't officially get adopted until 1985. That's when I officially got adopted, and that was almost 8 years later of being in that home. So 1978 I got there. 1985 finally the adoption went through, and it was extremely happy moment to officially have the name Hughes, and I'm happy.
Right. You're pretty damn proud of yourself too.
I am proud of myself. I'm so proud that I didn't end up out on the street, that I didn't get into drugs or alcohol or get arrested, or, you know, even though everything you have to work for, I'm glad at the same job, and I hope to retire there when I'm 68 or whatever age I can retire. That job, I've been there since I graduated from high school. I was 18 years old when I started there. That's a successful story, you know. But everything's good, and I just hope that people, when they hear this story or hear any stories that I talk about, that they realize that life really isn't that bad. You just got to make it the way you can.